Hello, Rabbanit Shira.
Shalom, Rabbanit Hamutal.
Isn't it fabulous to actually be learning the dapim of Masechet Sanhedrin? I love
and
it.
especially Sanhedrin because it's so fascinating. The topics here and everything. I have so much to learn. So it's great learning it with you.
And I also like that there's like basic diunim about how do you form a bet mishpat? What does it take? Who are these people going to be? But before we start, I have a riddle for you.
Kadima. Let's do a riddle.
Okay. What does this say?
Lead.
Which
to
means?
lead someone.
Okay.
To show them the way.
Okay, great. But it could also mean something else.
Okay. Lead.
Right.
Lead, the metal.
The metal, exactly. So this is a fascinating example of what we will call soon em la mikra, em la masoret.
Okay, say that again. Em la mikra, meaning the way that you read it.
Right. There's
the
a certain
em la
way.
masoret,
Right.
meaning the traditional way.
Exactly. So this word can be read in two different ways, which has two different interpretations. And at the same way, we have words in the Torah that are written and read in a different way.
And in Hebrew, in difference from English, what we have is nikud.
Right.
Nachon? So in Hebrew, you can read the word, but the nikud will give it a different meaning.
My kids will say that English has so many weird words that they can't pronounce that is also complicated.
Nachon, because there's all these silent letters that as
Exactly.
Israelis, we never know when to say the G, the K, the...
Yeah, we have no idea. Exactly.
Knife, and
Yeah,
so
exactly.
on.
Okay. So this week we're going to speak about bet din. What forms the basic bet din of 3 judges? And we might say different numbers. So the Gemara in Daf Gimel Amud Bet says the following: Tanu Rabbanan dinei mamonot bishlosha, Rabbi Omer b'chamisha. So the question is how many judges we need for the basics, the smallest bet din that we have. We spoke last week in the introduction that every small town has to have a bet din, right?
So here we have the first machloket, the first argument. Tana Kama will say we need 5.
Right.
Rabbi.
Rabbi ורבנן.
רבנן, לא תנא קמא?
לא.
אז כמה בזה הקודם אמרתי תנא
כן,
קמא.
סיכנתי אותך, זה בסדר.
Okay, so Rabbi would say we need 5 people in order to be the smallest beit din that there is, and Rabbanan will say 3 is enough.
Yeah. So
3
the
that's the
question is,
minimum number.
yeah. So the question is, where do we learn about this? Because they don't come up with the discussion starting with the Gemara, but they go back to the Torah, right?
So we're going back to the Chumash, and from the Chumash in the Parasha of Mishpatim in the book of Shmot. Perek Kafet, the 22nd Perek chapter, and this is what it says: "Im lo yimatzeh haganav v'nikrav ba'al habayit el ha'Elohim." If something was stolen from you, the person needs to take the thief to the Elohim, and the interpretation to Elohim is not HaKadosh Baruch Hu,
no,
but the judge.
Exactly.
So if someone is stolen from me, something is stolen from me, I need to take the thief to the judge. Exactly. Why am I taking the thief to the judge? Because I want justice to be done. So the pasuk later, the straight after, the pasuk right after that would say, whatever it is that was stolen from you, if it's an animal, if it's a clothing, it doesn't matter what it is, asher yomar ki hu zeh, ad ha'Elohim yavo dvar shnehem. So both of them needs to go to the judge in order to say, you stole from me, and he will say, no, I didn't. Okay, in order for both sides to be heard. Asher yarshi'un Elohim. So by now we have 3 times in 2 psukim the word Elohim by the interpretation of shofet in the psukim.
Yes, and also the word yarshi'un, to be convicted, and this is what we're going to speak about. So the Gemara, going back to the Gemara is saying, why is Rabbi why does he think that we need 5 judges? Because the pasuk says asher yarshi'un Elohim, okay? And Rabbi goes with the opinion that em la mikra, meaning the most important thing about the pasuk is the way it's read. And because yarshi'un, convicted, is in plural, that means I understand that basically what we have to have is 2 judges.
So the minimum has to be 2 because it's plural.
Exactly.
So that's the basic number, and from there you only go up.
Exactly. And because the pasuk has the word Elohim, like you read 3 times, one is to make us understand that it's talking about judges, and then we have
2 more times.
Exactly. 2nd and 3rd, which means I start with 4 judges. Okay? And then Rabbi would say it can't be even. It has to be odd, so we go up to 5.
Okay.
So that's em la mikra, meaning...
And this is how Rabbi came to 5.
Exactly.
2, and 1.
Yeah. Basic math. For me, it was complicated, but we got it. And then Rabbanan are saying, no. The word convicted, yarshi'un, is written without a vav.
So you'll know only if you look inside in the pasuk. And in the pasuk it says yarshi'un. It sounds like plural, but it actually says so without the vav.
It's single.
It's what we call in Hebrew ktiv chaser.
Exactly. So I can read the pasuk and say yarshia. Yarshia is single. So they say, what do you mean? It's em la masoret. It's all about the tradition of the way that everything was written. And because it's single, so I have 2 judges, I'm adding 1 to make it an odd number, not an even number, I get to 3.
So the basic number, according to Rabbanan, would be 3.
It's very interesting because when a kid learned for his bar mitzvah, we know, why is it so complicated? Why does it take forever to learn your parsha? Because the way that the words are sound, there's no nikud in the Torah scroll, right?
Nachon. So basically, when you read in the Knesset, in Shul, in Shabbat morning, the man that is reading, he needs to know by heart the nikud and also the te'amim.
Right.
And that's why it takes so much time to learn it.
Because the way you pronounce it is not always
necessarily
exactly the way that you read it. And this is a discussion of em la mikra, em la masoret. And then the Gemara says, wait. We have other ideas and other examples of words that can be read in 2 different meanings.
For example, chalav in chelev. Nachon? It says in the Torah, lo tochal gdi bechalav imo. Oh, what if it says, lo tochal gdi bechelev imo?
Chelev is a part of a body of the animal.
Of the fat.
Yeah, that you can't eat. Chalav is milk. Whole different story. There's another example about Sukkot. Sukkot in the Torah is written in ktiv chaser without a vav. So Chachamim would say, wait, how many
walls to the sukkah?
Exactly. If we go by em la mikra, of course it's plural Sukkot. It means at least 3 walls for the sukkah. But if you go according to em la masoret, you could say Sukkot. Let's go to the bare minimum, 2 plus a small part. And it's fascinating to see the examples that they give you, which actually I think is fascinating in the term of we're not giving up on any of these, right? We are kind of holding both of them, the way that we read and the way that things are written, right?
Nachon, but it's also very interesting to see that argument that we see in the Gemara going down to halacha.
Right.
And the Rambam in our topic, in Sefer Shoftim, the book of Judges, Rambam to halacha will say every Beit Din should have 3. The minimum is 3 in order to have rov v'mi'ut, in order to have a minority and majority.
Right.
Because if they have a disagreement, they'll have a way to come to a conclusion if they have minority and majority. So even though it's a topic that we have a discussion that we can say it's even philosophical.
Right.
Do we say it according to what we see, to what we hear? How do we say it to halacha? But at the end, it comes down to halacha, and we have a psak. And the halacha is that the minimum is 3.
Yeah.
Like 5.
Yeah, like the name of the chapter, Dinei Mamonot Bishlosha. So the Rambam teaches us that this is a wonderful discussion and a very interesting one about Em La Mikra versus Em La Masoret, but the bare minimum of a Beit Din, that every small town, right? He says, Ir she'en ba 120. You have less than 120 people in your city, in your village, wherever it is you live, you have to have a Beit Din of 3 people. I'm going to challenge you. What if I have a very talented judge and I would say, okay, you'll be the judge.
Okay, so now we have, and we're going to see it later on in the pages of the Gemara, Dayan Dan Yechidi.
Right.
Can you have only one person that will be the judge, and he won't have anyone to consult with?
Right.
And he's going to be all by himself. Can we call him judge?
So
I think, so that's the difference. I think Mara will then discuss, maybe it's a Dayan, but it's not a Beit Din. Because Shem Beit Din, like the title of Beit Din, and I would say the authority or the ability to rule as a Beit Din would only be of the minimum of 3.
Okay. So keep learning. And
keep learning.
So many people ask me, where do we learn? How can we learn? So you can go in to Hadran website. You can see Rabbanit Michelle Farber's shiurim. They're fascinating. You can be on Zoom. You can hear the recording later. Whatever it is, it works for you.
And you can join us for the vlog. Every week we're going to choose one topic and we're going to try and expand and talk about it and look into it.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. Be'atzlacha.